So there are four things right now that equate to bad news for the overall real estate market. Number one is the recent surge in home prices in just the last few years. Number two is now the recent surge in interest rates. Number three is wages are still lagging far behind the percentage of how high home prices have gone up. And number four, investors, namely Wall Street and corporations and hedge funds, are buying up a tremendous amount of residential real estate. Take a look at this video to see what I mean.
The increases in home prices have also outpaced increases in wages. As a result, home sales are down across many markets, and the median age of the typical first-time home buyer has climbed to 38. That's up from age 29 in 1981. The average price of homes has increased rapidly too. Nationwide, home prices have climbed over 52% between January 2020 and October 2024. Adding to the burden, mortgage rates have returned to their standard historical range. Investors are buying homes too. Economists saw their shares jump to an all-time high in 2024.
And let's also not forget about the ongoing Southern California wildfires, where thousands of people have tragically lost their homes in those fires. All of this spells bad news for the real estate market, but is this bad news or good news for buyers this year coming up? You're about to find out. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the US economy, the US real estate market, and specifically the Las Vegas real estate market, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Number two, if you happen to like the content in today's video, make sure to press that thumbs up like button, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number three, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. So as a result of all of these housing affordability issues, demand is now definitely starting to drop. Check out this short clip.
We are witnessing the biggest drop in home buyer demand in U.S. history right now, with mortgage applications to buy a house plummeting by 63% from their pandemic peak. This collapse in buyer demand suggests that the spring housing market this year is going to see a lot of empty open houses and a lot of price cuts.
Now, here's the thing. As a result of all of these factors, especially because demand is now dropping, inventory is shooting up across the country, as you're about to see in this next graph. All right, so let's first take a look at this U.S. map graphic. Now, you can see at the very top, it says 1 year change in active housing inventory for sale, shift between December 2023 and December 2024. So this goes back all of last year to show you how much housing inventory has been increasing in each state. And you can see the percentages based on the different colors in the actual map graphic. The darker colored greens are the states that have had the highest amount of inventory increases throughout the country, and the lighter colored states obviously have the least amount of housing inventory increases. So let's take a look at a few states here just to show you what housing inventory has been doing over this past year. All right, so let's start at the very bottom here. This number right here says 46%, and they're placing it over the state of Hawaii. So Hawaii is the #1 state in the country in terms of housing inventory going up the most. If we go over here to Florida, right on the bottom southeast side of the country, it says 35%. Just above that in Georgia is 34%. If we go all the way to California, right over here on the West Coast, that's 25%. And just next door right here in Nevada is 35%, which is actually ironic because I remember seeing this chart just a few months ago, in Nevada, where I happen to be in Las Vegas, had the lowest amount of housing inventory just several months ago, and now it's just about near the highest level of housing inventory. Now let's look at a few of the lighter colored states where housing inventory is going up, but not nearly as much as the states that are in the darker colored greens. So let's go to the Northwest up here. In Washington, 18% increase in the last year. North Dakota, right in the top middle part of the country, 0%. If we go to Minnesota right next door, 10%. If we go right here to Illinois, 8%. If we go over to New Jersey, 8%. If we go up to New York, 1%. So again, a lot of these states are not seeing as much housing inventory increasing in those states compared to the darker colored green ones, but the majority of the country is seeing a big spike in inventory over the last year. And that's because interest rates are still very high and home prices are still near record highs. So again, that basically means more inventory is going to be hitting the market. And as this continues to increase, especially with high interest rates staying put, the likelihood as more inventory increases, home prices are likely to come down, I think, especially later in 2025. Now, drilling down more specifically here in the Las Vegas real estate market where I happen to be located, you can see right next to me that home prices are now finally starting to drop off, even though they were up a little over 5% last year. And I want to show you a few examples of that coming up. All right, so now I'm on the popular real estate platform Zillow. And if you guys follow my channel, you know that I usually go to this real estate website near the back half of each of my videos just to show you a few examples of Las Vegas homes for sale. And again, these are just a few examples of the many examples that I find every single week here in the Las Vegas real estate market where homes are either massively overpriced, they've already been reduced in price, or they've closed a lot lower than the original list price. So let's start in the luxury category and then work down closer to the average price point to show you a few homes that are either massively reduced in price or homes that have already closed far below that original list price. All right, so let's take a look at this first example. Now, this is a luxury Las Vegas home for sale. Anything over $1 million here in the Las Vegas real estate market is considered a luxury home. So you can see on the left side of the screen, this home is currently listed for sale for just under $2 million. But just above that in that small red text, it says price cut $250,000. That just happened a couple of weeks ago, and that's not even the full price reduction as you're about to see. Now, it says 2 bedrooms. That is not accurate. This is a 4-bedroom, 5-bath, 3,200 square foot home. But again, more importantly, I want to show you the full price reduction of this home down in the details below. All right, so take a look down at the bottom of the screen in the blue highlight. Down on the bottom left there, it says 9/11/2024. So this is just a little bit over 4 months ago when this home was originally listed for sale. You can see on the right side of the highlight for $2.4 million. They have not been able to find a buyer because, again, the original list price at $2.4 million is massively overpriced. Now they've gone through price reductions. You can see just above it, $2.3 million. They had a contingent offer there, but then it fell apart. They listed it back for sale again at 2.3. They couldn't find a buyer. They dropped it to 2,250. And as I scroll up here, you can see the current list price of that yellow highlight is now just at about $2 million. So very simply, this seller is now facing a very big reality check because they had this home originally listed for $2.4 million. They thought they had a deal at $2.3 million and then it fell apart. And now they've reduced it all the way down to $2 million. So this home has now been on the market for 4 months and it's gone through a $400,000 price reduction. Now, again, I know most people cannot afford a multi-million-dollar home, but everything is relative. And I'm going to show you a few examples, obviously, of homes that are lower price points. But again, it just goes to show you if a home is not priced properly, whether it's a luxury home or an average price point home, it is going to sit on the market and it's likely going to have to be reduced in price pretty heavily until it finally sells. All right, so let's take a look at this second example of another Las Vegas home for sale. Now, this home actually is no longer for sale. It closed a couple of months ago, right around Thanksgiving. You can see right at the top middle there in that yellow highlight for $865,000. But more importantly, I want to show you down here in the blue highlight, down on the bottom right here. Take a look here. The date says 7/3/2024. So that's about 6 months ago when the home was originally listed for sale. You can see on the right side for $979,000. So this home originally was listed for just under $1 million and it closed for $865,000. That's over a $100,000 price reduction in order for this home to finally have sold. So again, this goes back to what I've been saying for quite some time. If you're a buyer looking to buy a home, whether it's here in the Las Vegas real estate market or anywhere in the country, you don't want to just put in an offer at the original list price just because the seller has it listed at that price. A lot of these sellers almost are intentionally overpricing their homes, knowing that they're still going to make a very big profit even if they reduce the price of the home. So again, a lot of these homes are overpriced, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market. And it just goes to show you these sellers are taking a big price reduction on a lot of these homes off of the original list price because they know that they're overpriced and they have to reduce it in order for it to finally sell. All right, so now let's take a look at this third and final example of another Las Vegas home for sale. Now you can see on the left side of the screen, we're definitely coming way down in price. Again, the median price point here in the Las Vegas real estate market is about $470,000. So you can see on the left side of the screen, this home is currently listed at just about $520,000. You can see in the red text just above it, they did a small price cut of $20,000 recently. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,300 square foot home. But again, I want to show you down below in the pricing history, the roller coaster ride this home has been on in terms of price. All right, so this home has been on quite the roller coaster ride over nearly the last 20 years. I want you to take a look down at the bottom of the screen in this blue highlight. Down on the bottom left, the date there says 9/8/2006. So we're going back 19 years ago when this home was originally sold for $368,000, which was a fairly moderate price point even back then in the Las Vegas real estate market. But take a look just above it. The date there in that yellow highlight says 7/20/2011, and it was sold for $170,000 because that was the bottom of the real estate crash and the market completely fell apart here in Las Vegas. So the people that bought that home in 2011, they basically paid 50% of what it sold for just a few years earlier in 2006. Now again, if we look just above it here, you can see the date again in this yellow highlight, 12/5/2024. So again, many years later, 13 years later after we finally pulled out of that real estate crash, you can see the original list price is $540,000. Again, a little bit overpriced. They can't find a buyer. So again, just above that now, you can see the full price reduction of $520,000. All right, so a couple of takeaways here. Number one, this seller had absolutely perfect timing. They bought at the bottom of the real estate market crash in 2011, and they've ridden the wave all the way up. So even if this seller reduces the home down to $500,000 or $475,000, they are still going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. But here's the thing. If you're a buyer and I was your real estate agent, I would never tell you to put in an offer at this current list price because we know that they're going to make a substantial profit on this home, and it's been sitting on the market for 45 days now, so it's stale. So I would come in even lower than where it's at right now because, again, you don't want to bid on the price just because the seller has it listed at that price. And again, if you don't bid on it at all, especially during the winter time, being patient might be the better option because, again, after a few months of no buyers buying this home, it's likely going to be reduced in price even more. So now, even though there are a lot of home price reductions happening here in the Las Vegas real estate market, the one thing that could change that are these ongoing Southern California wildfires, because what a lot of people don't know is before these fires, a tremendous amount of California residents have moved to places like Las Vegas, and the fires are only going to likely exacerbate that, as you're about to see in this short upcoming video clip.
About 52,000 Californians moved to Nevada. More than 12,000 moved from LA County. Sean tells me with the fires, we could see that number go up drastically as SoCal residents look for more affordability and avoiding disasters like this.
So I received hundreds and hundreds of comments last week when I asked you guys whether or not you think these Southern California wildfires are going to ultimately make people who live in California pick up and move to places like Las Vegas, or do you think they're going to stay and rebuild or move elsewhere within the state? And a lot of you, the vast majority of you, definitely feel that most people who live in California are going to stay in California, even though some of you do think that some people obviously are going to migrate over to places like Las Vegas, where the cost of living is far cheaper and we certainly don't have any kind of consistent fire threat. I want to read a few of the comments from last week's video, and then I'm going to come back on the other side and comment on it. This first comment is from Rabbit. Many people in California will never leave, especially for Las Vegas. They love the weather and can't tolerate the heat. There are also jobs, family, and friends to consider. This next comment is from Mark. Moving to Las Vegas compared to the Palisades would be like going to jail. Those people would move to other desirable locations than Vegas. And this last comment is from Clark. I think a good number of fire victims will relocate to Las Vegas. The inventory in coastal SoCal is extremely low. So the vast majority of you guys think that most people who lost their homes tragically in the Southern California wildfires are ultimately going to stay and rebuild, or they're going to move elsewhere in the state and not move to places like Las Vegas. Now, I'm split 50-50 here because on one side, I definitely believe the people that live in California love California. Their friends and family and their jobs are there, and they want to stay there. The other 50% of me definitely thinks a lot of those residents are going to be moving to places like Las Vegas. My phone has been ringing every single day from California residents looking to buy homes here in Las Vegas now, again, because a lot of people are tired of the politics there, the high taxes there, and of course, the constant fire danger threat. I want to hear your opinion one more time on this issue. I want you to drop me a comment down below. I read and respond to all of my comments. I want to know whether or not you think the Southern California wildfires are going to force a lot of people out of that area and move and relocate to places like Las Vegas, or ultimately, are they going to stay and rebuild or move elsewhere within the state? And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct on-screen shout out to in next week's video. So I just want to close out the video by giving you guys some very simple advice. The real estate market is quickly becoming a case of the haves versus the have-nots. And what I mean by that is the haves are the people that already own homes, that have equity in their homes, and that can easily buy and sell real estate. The have-nots are the people that are aspiring homeowners that are desperately trying to save for a down payment and qualify with their income. The bottom line is this: if you are part of that have-not group and you do not own a home just yet, the very first thing you really need to do is run the financial numbers and see whether or not it makes sense for you to be able to comfortably afford a home. If you can do it, then do it. If you can't do it, maybe wait a little while, wait for interest rates to come down, wait for home prices to come down. Now, if you're thinking about buying a home, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you in the next video.